my cats. Hey everybody, welcome back to Elizabeth Plants. I'm Elizabeth and today we are doing a very requested video. We are repotting all of my rare houseplants, mostly philodendrons from Indonesia. I've been wanting to do this video all week. Most of them are doing really well, so I'm really excited to do this repotting. Another thing that I want to do in this video is a houseplant tag. Nobody tagged me per se, but I thought it would be nice to kind of answer some questions and get to know, have you guys get to know me while I do some of this repotting. One thing that you're probably noticing is the camera shaking. My cats are playing under the chair that my camera is propped up on, so they keep bumping it. It's not a super stable chair. Okay, so let's get started. First, soil. I'm going to show you what I pre-made this soil. I'm going to be using these orchid pots and this soil. So in this soil is some, I want to say it's Miracle-Gro indoor soil. I've added pumice, I've added horticultural charcoal, a bunch of orchid bark, a little bit of cocoa coir, and a little bit of moss. And and some worm castings. So that's kind of what this is. It's a nice, well draining, but also it holds moisture. It's what I use for a lot of my plants, unless they need like extreme draining or extreme moisture hold or something. This is pretty much what I use. I used Miracle-Gro this time, but usually I'll try and use Spoma or something like that. Miracle-Gro just happened to be in my budget this time. It's a lot cheaper. And more readily available to me anyways. Another thing I'm going to be using is moss. So I've got a container of moss over here. I'm going to put that probably at the top of most of these plants. So let's just get started. What plant should I do first? First, before I get in the questions, we're going to talk about my Alocasia Silver Dragon. This is what's left. So probably 2 days after I filmed my last video, all of those leaves turned kind of like almost absent of color. It's like they didn't even have any color, and they just curled up and crisped up, and they had like these black and brown dots all over them. Maybe they weren't black, but they were like a discolored dot all over them, and so definitely those suffered from the cold. Absolutely cold damage. But it's a bulb plant, so even though all of the leaves have fallen off, I tried to save it in moss. It was too far gone by that point. But because it's a bulb plant, I'm going to still repot this guy and just hope that something will happen. I've been able to save Alocasia with just the bulb quite a few times actually. So the roots are still really nice, and there's actually, where is it? Right here's like a little, you probably aren't going to be able to see that, but there's a little dot that's either new growth or a new root coming through. So I have hope. I have a lot of hope for this guy, even though there's no leaves, and I was so excited. Yeah. So we're just gonna get into the repotting from this point, and we'll start with this guy. I'm gonna give him one of the smaller pots. I have two sizes here. I've got 4-inch and 6-inch, I believe, and hopefully this is enough correctly sized pots. But let's start with the questions. So the first question is, when did you get started into houseplants? So I first got into houseplants in college. I want to say it was like my sophomore year in college, and I had recently lost my dog. No, I had lost a pet. What time? Maybe it was a lizard. I had lost a lizard or something. and I really wanted something to take care of while I was at college, but a pet wasn't an option. So for Christmas, I asked my parents for a houseplant, and they bought me a Scindaptus pictus, probably from like Meyer. My mom used to have plants around the house when I was growing up. Mostly, I believe they were pothos, but she saw the Scindaptus pictus, and she said that she believed it was an easy starter plant. So that is what they got me for Christmas, and it was a huge plant. It has since been chopped up and it's struggled through bugs, and it's currently in water, but I still have it. Yeah, that's how I got into plants. And I kind of just stuck with the one plant for a long time. And when I moved to North Carolina for grad school, plants are more readily available there than they are in Michigan because it's warmer and it's more suitable environment, and it's more warm more of the year, so they just kind of do better. But I found this small little plant shop / greenhouse that I really liked, and I would go there. I was a server. I was a server for a couple months while I was first living there, and after my shifts on Sunday, I would go to this shop, or I would go on the following Monday, and I'd buy a plant with my tip money because I didn't need this money for my bills. I had already had a different job, a different office job to pay for my bills, and I just needed something to pay for like enjoyment and also to kind of fill my time. So I served and I bought plants. So this is this guy all potted up. And when I'm done potting all of these guys, I'll probably water them because they're used to water. So, check. Should have grabbed a water. I'm gonna grab a water real quick. I'm thirsty. Awesome. Next plant. Ooh, what's a plant I'm excited to show you? This guy. And keep in mind, there are 12 plants here. There's a lot of plants. So this is the Magic Marble Singhania that I didn't think was going to have any leaves left because of travel damage. And it lost maybe one leaf. It just popped out a new one. And it's doing amazing. A lot of these plants were yellow when I got it, and they kind of reverted back to not yellow, to kind of white and green. So I'm going to take him out of his water. I'll let you look at him. Like, look at that. He's doing really well, and he's got some root growth down there. So most of these plants I'm going to put back in the location they were in, just in dirt. So he's a really small guy, so I'm going to give him this pot. I wish I had a smaller pot to give him, but I do not. So he's going to have to be okay in this for now. It's a really well-draining pot, lots of holes, so I think he'll be okay. Second question. Oh no, my screen fell asleep. To anybody wondering, I film on my phone, on my cell phone. And so I needed to use my laptop to pull up the questions, because my phone is what you're seeing me on. Okay, second question. What is my oldest houseplant? So my oldest houseplant is definitely the Scindaptus pictus that I mentioned in my previous question, because it's the first plant I ever got, and it's still here. Like, oh shoot, that was probably like 2014 that I got it. Maybe 2013, but I think 2014. So it's been well over 5 years. So that's the oldest plant that I have, like the longest I've had a plant. But this question can also be interpreted a different way into the age of the plants that I have. So I have two very old plants. I have a clipping from a 100-year-old begonia from a friend and our cat sitter. She gave it to me, and it struggled for a minute, but I think it's back on track. And it's got, I think, 3 leaves, 2 or 3 leaves. And then I have a snake plant. I don't know what variety, but it's huge. And it was a gift from my boyfriend's, oh God. We're not knocking down a bunch of glass jars with rare plants in them. Oh, you gotta go over there, my dude. But that, I don't know how old it is, but it's older than I am. So that's another really, really old plant that I have. So to my knowledge, those are my oldest plants. We're done with this guy. I'm not gonna put moss in him. I think, oh my cat, he's grabbing a jar. Come here. Oh. Where's your mouse? Where's your mouse? I don't know where your mouse is. But he's a Singhonium, so I think he'll be okay without that. Awesome. Okay, next, gotta make sure I transfer the tags, otherwise I'll be lost. I just won't know what's going on. I'm going to take the glasses over to the kitchen each time so that my cats don't knock them over. Next plant. Let's do this guy because I actually have a fun little surprise with this guy. So this is my Coelogyne Lucy. And he's done really well. He lost 1 leaf, it yellowed, and then he's losing this one. But they seem to be the oldest leaves in the plant. But one thing when I was cleaning off the roots and kind of redoing the water that I noticed was that what we have here is actually 2 plants. I ordered 1, I got 2, and I didn't realize that they were separate because they were so entangled. So that's really awesome. And both have new buds coming up. I don't know if you can see this one. This one has more leaves. But this guy lost a leaf, and then this guy's about to lose a leaf. But it looks like they're the oldest leaves. So I'm not really worried about that at all. So this is phenomenal. He's doing phenomenal. Lots of new white roots on this one, and this one's still doing really well, so I'm not too concerned yet. Let's repot these guys. I want to repot them together because they were together when I got them and they're used to being together in a small container. I think I'm going to run out of small containers. That's going to be a problem. So what was the first plant to really kickstart my collection? I kind of talked about my very first plant ever, but what plant really kicked off my collection is a good question. When I first moved to North Carolina is when I really started collecting plants. I think I had maybe 30 plants by the time I moved back to Michigan. And Jesus, what was my first plant? I believe I got my first plant at Walmart when I was shopping for like a dustpan or something like that. And I want to say it was a Dracaena. I think it was a Dracaena, and then also a white butterfly Singhonium. I bought these 2 at the same time. Now, I believe I mentioned it in my upcoming, or maybe my previously posted. I'm not sure when I'm posting my videos yet, but I filmed a houseplant tour. And so if that's up, you'll see my original Singhonium right now has been put into a bunch of different jars because my cats keep rolling on it and damaging it, and so I'm kind of putting it in rehab. But that is my original Singhonium and my Dracaena, which probably kickstarted my collection. At that point in time, I also had a variegated Peperomia obtusifolia that I kept in my kitchen that just absolutely did phenomenal. And I had it up until very recently. My cats killed it. Gotta love my cats. Speaking of cats, check out a video where I tell you how I'm keeping my cats from rolling around and digging up my dirt. because that's a problem I have. My cats are rescues. They were outdoor cats originally, so they kind of were raised playing in dirt, and so it's been a real adjustment for them and for me. Here we go. Here's my plant. It looks really good. I'm really excited for all of these plants, but this one looks really good. All right. Running out of space. Next, we're gonna do this one. This is, oops. This is my Philodendron verrucosum. If you recall in my first rare unboxing video, he came with this gigantic stump, and him sitting in water is becoming an issue. He's got a lot of like good roots in there, but I think the stump bit is rotting. So I don't really know what to do about that, but I'm gonna stick him in dirt because most of it's not rotting, and you know what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna chop off half of this stump. The part that's not rotted has most of the roots, so I'm gonna go do that real quick, and I'll be right back. Out of the trash. Nope, you're not allowed. Okay, so I've cut the stump down. We still have all the roots. I'm hoping that this won't be an issue, but it was definitely rotting. It's like, it was black in the middle and it smelled awful like sulfur. But he seems to be doing okay because he's got this new leaf coming out. Yeah, so I think we'll be fine. Need to go through and clean all my leaves. So we're gonna put him in a bigger pot. Yeah, we're gonna put him in a bigger one because he's got more foliage going for him. I wish I would have bought all small pots. I guess I didn't think too hard about that one, did I? So next question. What plants do you struggle to keep alive? That's a big question. I struggle with Hoya. I struggle with succulents. I struggle with cacti. What else do I struggle with? There's a lot of like random plants that I struggle with that I've had, but I don't remember. Succulents and cacti are pretty big because I can never tell if I'm over or under watering a cactus because they don't have leaves. They don't like change regardless. They either rot or they don't. And they could be dead if they're not rotting too. So I have no idea. I really struggle with my cactus. No idea how they're doing, not a clue. And then succulents, same deal. I have a tendency to either under or overwater them because I don't know if I'm under or overwatering them for the most part. I've learned a trick that has helped me with the ones I still have, that when they need water, their like leaves will get really wrinkly. And that seems to be working for the ones that I have. I have no interest in really gathering more though. I'm pretty proud of the ones I have because all of them have nearly died several times. I'm in the process of me learning that. So that's kind of cool. I struggle with Hoya because I just don't care about them, I think. I know that they're like, people love Hoyas. They absolutely love Hoyas. I have one Hoya. I used to have a Hindu rope, but it died to bugs. And I just don't care. It could be cool to have another Hindu rope, but like I'm not gonna buy it. That's gonna be something that somebody gifts me if I keep it. Another thing is ivy. Why did I forget about ivy? I suck at ivy. So I grew up in a house where my mom did so well with ivy. There were ivy everywhere in my childhood home, and I can't keep ivy alive to save my life. I've tried a million different things, and I have no idea why I can't keep ivy alive. It doesn't matter, I just can't do it. So I don't have any ivy anymore. Here we go. Here's this guy. The cats are trying to get into my trash. Kitty cats. Not allowed. Okay, we're still doing good on space. My phone has very few bits of space on it right now. So next question. Actually, while my computer comes back from the dead, we'll do another plant. Let's do this little guy because I want to be sure he gets a little pot before I run out of little pots. This is my Florida ghost. So he's doing fine. I haven't had any notable concerns with this guy. He's got new roots coming in, if you can see them, and he's got a new bud coming in, and he's already had this new leaf. It's not super duper white, but it's definitely whiter than the others. He's a very immature plant though, so I have high hopes for his future, and I'm really excited. And my computer's not coming back. I should have printed these questions out, you know. We'll continue to repot him. What plants do you struggle keeping alive? Because we all have something. Like, it's unrealistic to say that any one person can keep every type of plant alive. So let me know in the comments below either some tips to the plants I mentioned I struggle with, or some plants that you struggle with, and maybe we can help each other get better at taking care of the plants we struggle with. Next question. What is the biggest mistake you made with a plant? I made a whole video on my plant goals for 2020 and some plant no-nos that I am a culprit of. And in that video, I talk about this question. So I'm just going to give you kind of the mini version of it. But essentially, I made the mistake of thinking I was invincible. Not invisible. I thought that I and my plants were invincible. We would never get bugs. We would never, struggle. I thought that I was superhuman for some reason, and I was wrong. And so my biggest mistake was not being more intentional about keeping my plants safe and clean from bugs. So this is this guy, me Florida ghost. Awesome. Oh, I'm running out of space. Cool, next plant. Let's do this guy because I know he's going in a big one. Right here. This is I believe it's a melanochrysum. Let me pull him out of this giant jar. Yeah, he's a medium leaf melanochrysum. So this is he doesn't even fit. Melanochrysum, he's got 6 leaves. He lost a teeny tiny leaf from the bottom, and this one's yellowing, so I'm actually just going to pull this one off. Oh god, Mr. Kitty. Oh. Man, say hi to the camera. You can't play in my plants or knock the glass down and it will break. I don't want you to break glass. This guy already broke a glass this morning. He grabbed it trying to get up on the counter, even though we know he can get up on the counter without grabbing stuff. But we're going to plant this guy up. He's done really well. We've got some new roots in there. Yeah, I mean, I just stuck him in dirt. Now there's dirt on his roots, but he's doing really well. What's the next question? The most expensive plant I ever bought, and is it still alive? So, my cats. The most expensive plant I have ever bought was $99, and I should have waited because I found it much cheaper since. But it was an Alocasia cuprea. So it's an Alocasia cuprea. It's about this big. It's teeny tiny. You can find it cheaper, bigger sizes now, but I refuse because I already have it, so I'm just going to stick with this plant. And yes, it is still alive. Every time it pops out a new leaf, it kills off another one, and that's just kind of its cycle. And I'm okay with that. It's every time a new leaf comes out, it's generally bigger, with the exception of this last leaf, and that is because I severely underwatered the guy. Don't you dare! So yeah, that's my most expensive plant, and I regret paying that price for it, but I do not regret getting the plant. I will love it in its adult form, but it is not an adult yet. So I'm just caring for it kindly. This guy might need like a stick or something to hold him up, because he's really tall, but he doesn't have a lot of substance out bottom. So I might need to tie him up. For now, he'll be okay. If I do not cover a question that you're curious about in this video, feel free to leave it in the comments, and maybe next time I do a repotting or something, I'll answer them, all the questions that you were wondering, but it didn't get asked. So here's this guy. I'm really excited for his roots to grow out, for sure. Now I'm going to run my glasses over to the sink for a sec. We're back. We are back. Next plant. Next we are going to do this guy. This is my mammy eye. And he is doing really well. So nothing notable as far as leaves. Actually, eat my words. Look, can you see that? It's so tiny. There's a little growth coming out right there. We've got a new leaf. We're doing it. And this guy came on a little stump as well, and he's got Jesus, so many new little roots, and I love it. We are going to give him a small pot, because I don't think I'm going to run out of small pots. I'm allergic. Don't know what, but I'm allergic. He's got quite a few bits of substantial leaves, so I'm really excited about that. Next question. Do you have a certain variety or genus you are drawn to? So I've got quite a few. I really, really love philodendron, as noted by the fact that like all but 2 of these plants in here are philodendron. I really love philodendron. They're easy to propagate. They grow really well. They're very beautiful. There's so many different like looks to a philodendron. I just love them. They've got a lot going for them. Another plant genus that, or like variety that I really like is alocasia. If you watch any of my old videos, you probably already know this, especially if you watch my favorites video. I love alocasia. My cat's in my plants again. Mister, you can't do that. You knock them down, you break the glass. When they're plastic, you can do that. Okay? Bless you. I lost my train of thought. Alocasia. Love them. Elephant is my favorite animal, and so I was initially drawn to it by the nickname elephant ear. And then I got some, and I just have loved them since. My first one was an African mask. I believe its name has changed, as well as its nickname. And for whatever reason, I'm blanking. I just can't think of it. I know it, I can't think of it. That's this guy. Looking good. He's looking good. Awesome. Next question. Do you also garden outdoors? If so, edibles or flowers? So we're gonna repot while I answer this question my Atabapoense. So no, I do not plant outdoors, but it's not because I don't like to plant outdoors. It's because I don't have access to planting outdoors. I live in an apartment that, quite frankly, doesn't have balconies. We don't have balconies. There's not like a community garden or anything like that. So I don't really have access to outdoor gardening. I attempted a salsa and herb garden indoors, and that's kind of what broke out my bug problem. So I kind of killed that off. Well, not really, the bugs kind of killed that off. But I'm holding off on that until we move into a house and I'm able to do it outside. So I'm not opposed to edible outdoor plants such as vegetables and herbs, but I can't right now because I don't have access to an outdoor garden. So that's that. Here is my Atabapoense. Look at that new growth. We're excited for him. He's been taking a while, and then also all those white roots. We love it. Stick him in the pot. I haven't really done a video specifically kind of updating my salsa and herb gardens because those were one of my first videos, and I was really pumped and really excited. But I guess I'll talk about it here. My problem was that I used cheap dirt and not soil. So I got it really cheap in a giant bag, and I thought it couldn't hurt, and I thought I was invincible. Bugs don't happen for me, except moss gnats, really. And I have not gone back to that dirt since. I've stuck with soil, and I've stuck with various bug prevention methods that I might talk about in another video when I feel comfortable doing so. So that's kind of where I stand on that and kind of what happened to my gardens. Because if you watch the videos, you might be wondering why I've never shown them in a tour or done an update. It's because they're all dead and they're gone, and it's because I was a dumb. Here's this guy. Sorry about that. I ran out of space and had to move some files over. So we have 2 questions left and 4 plants. We're going to try and roll through the plants. And I actually have 4 small containers left, so I actually planned better than I thought. So next we are going to do this guy. It's my Burl Marks. And he's got phenomenal roots growing. I'm really excited about this guy because he's doing so well. So what is the coolest plant in my collection? Oh, that's a good question. I think I have a lot of really cool plants in my opinion. I think my Marimo moss ball is pretty cool. I think all of these plants are really cool. Probably my Cupria, and if my Silver Dragon pulls through, my Silver Dragon. I think those might be the quote-unquote coolest plants in my collection. But I've got a lot of really awesome and cool plants. I suppose if I didn't think they were awesome and cool, maybe I shouldn't have them, right? So yeah, I've got a lot of really cool plants. Ta-da! Perfect. Next plant we're going to do is this guy, my Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. And he is going to actually go in a large container because eventually I want to stick a moss pole in with him. And if I put him in a large container, there'll be more space to do that. So, hoping I don't run out of dirt. We're going to stick him in a large container and do the last question. What is the #1 plant you want in your collection but have not acquired yet? I can't remember what video I talked about it in, but I talked about it in one of my videos. And the answer to that is Alocasia stingray. I have been so incredibly close to having the stingray, it's not even funny. I had a teeny tiny one from an unboxing that is on this channel. I can't remember, it was like Somebody Gardens. And I had it and it was great, and then winter came around and my heater killed it. It was too small to sustain itself with a lot of blowing air that is dry, and I had not yet caught up with my humidity routine, aka humidifiers. Ta-da! He's looking great. He's looking grand. Next, we are going to do my crocodile. I thought he was going to have a lot of really awful damage because he seemed to have the most symptoms, and he still kind of does on this leaf. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I don't know. He hasn't really killed off anything. I had that broken leaf that I got rid of, and he's got a new bud coming through right here. So we're feeling great about him, actually. Back to my story. So that guy died off, and then I was in Canada, and I came across a huge, absolutely huge one for like 30 bucks. And I was so excited, and I went back the day we were leaving to get it, and the store was closed, so I couldn't get it. I was crushed. And then I mentioned it in a video that I was going to order one, and I ordered one. And it was before winter really broke out here in Michigan that I ordered it, and I emailed the company for an update, or maybe they emailed me to give me an update. Can't remember who emailed who first. But they basically said we have to cancel your order because of your weather. And I said, well, I'll pay extra for a heat pad, or I'll wait until spring, but I really want this plant. And this was on eBay. Check them out. One more plant. So this was an eBay order, and that was really disappointing for me. They basically said, no, we're not holding the plant, and no, we don't do heat pads. Sorry, if you want to order, you can order in the spring. And I'm really bummed because I had put that order in, and then Gabriella Plants put one up for their like Black Friday sale, and I almost got it to play it safe so that I would have one, and then I said, no, be responsible with your money. You already ordered one, and it was like 60, 70 bucks, and you don't need two. So I passed it up, and then a little bit later, the lady emailed me and was like, we're not giving you your plant. We're giving you a refund instead. And I just can't get this plant in my life, and I want it so freaking bad, and I want a big one. I'm tired of these little ones that die because I'm in Michigan and we have to have the heat on so we don't freeze to death. So this is my golden dragon. He's got some phenomenal root growth down there. He's doing really well. And he's got a new guy coming in. He's a little bit damaged at the end. I think this guy's been working on it since I got him, but we're doing good. We're doing good things. I'm gonna put him in a small guy, even though he's a big guy, because his root system is little. And I'm almost out of dirt. This is actually probably going to be about the perfect amount of dirt. Let me know in the comments if you know where I can get myself a stingray and like actually get it, and get a big one for a decent price without, you know, an arm and a leg. Let me know what plants you are looking to attain but can't for whatever reason. And then, I don't know, let me know what the answers to these questions are for you. Which of these plants that I'm repotting is your favorite? Are you bummed about the silver dragon like I am? Just let me know. Let's talk in the comments below. All right. I feel like those are some really good questions. I kind of skimmed the questions before this video, but answering them actually made me think that they're really good questions. Awesome. That's this guy. If I can get him in camera. It's the soil. Basically what I'm going to do when I'm done wrapping up this video is I am going to water all these guys probably in the tub, clean off all their leaves, and then stick them back where they had been in the water because they're adjusted to that light and that humidity and that temperature. And all my rooms are pretty different, to be honest with you. So we're gonna do that. And yeah, answer all those questions I just said. If you really like this video, if you want to see more unboxings, more rare plants, more hauls, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. I do a lot of videos with my plants, obviously, but with unboxings and such. So if you like that content, subscribe, ring the bell so that you can be notified when I post a new video. Yeah, give me some love in the comments, give each other some love in the comments, give my plants some love in the comments, maybe even give my cats some love in the comments. I will see you next time. Bye.